Hello everyone, it's Sarah here, and let me get the chat open really quickly before we get going. Here we are. Okay, top chat, change that to live chat. Hey, hello, hi Kenny, you're up early. Thanks for coming, and hello to anybody else who's here. So what we're doing today, and I'm sorry about the light, I still am struggling with the early morning light. Hey Shannon, thanks for coming. So today we're starting a brand new series. So we finished up the Magical Mermaid last Tuesday. So this Tuesday we're starting a brand new page. It's from the book Vilin San by Tomislav Tomic, and he is one of my favorite illustrators, and this is a page that had been voted on a little while ago in one of the streams. So this is the page here, this flying cat. I'm not sure if it's a jaguar or a tiger. I'm not really sure because the pointed ears kind of remind me of like a bobcat, but like this sort of reminds me of like a cheetah or a jaguar or something. I don't know. I honestly, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna approach this as a fantasy creature because it has wings and a fun tail. Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's like a combination. I'm glad that you're excited about this. So, how I normally approach, I've done 2 other pages in this particular book, and how I normally approach them is with Tombow brush markers, and I'll show you. So this page here was done mostly with Tombows, and then I added pencil in the background and some details. So here's that. I don't know if you guys can see this that well. So there's that page, and then I also did this mermaid page was also done with Tombow markers and colored pencils. So this was Prismacolor and Tombows, and then I added stickles and stuff. Thank you. So when I was thinking about this other page, I was like, maybe, I was thinking about just doing it in pencils like I did. The mermaid was Prismacolor. So my plan initially was to just use my polys. I have a set of like 40 something polys here. So I could definitely just go at it with just the pencils. But usually because these pages are so detailed and there's a lot of work involved, I tend to use markers as a base to speed up my process. So what I'm asking you guys, hi, hello Jody. So what I'm asking you guys, you guys are my dedicated fans that watch this show regularly. What would you like to see as far as, would you like to see my Tombow process the way I'm accustomed to working in his books? Or would you like to see it as a pure pencil drawing? Hello, Shalene. How are you? I don't think I've seen you in here that much. Thank you so much for coming. You have what idea, Kenny? The Tombow base? Okay. I don't have a full set of Tombows. I have a selection that I've just sort of picked. So this is like my little color chart, I mean. So what I did is, let's see, the Tombow idea. Okay. Hi, Christina. Hello, hello. That's great. All right, so it seems like there's a consensus going about the Tombows. Let's see. Hi, Sammy. Oh, hello. Thanks for coming. So, let's see here. I'm just trying to think. I think I'm going to do this in a natural palette, so it almost seems like it could be real, but it's not real. Thank you all for coming. You guys are great. So it seems like so far I've got about mixed media, yeah, Tombow. So it looks as though we're going to go with the Tombow base. This is, what I'll do is I'm going to try and keep my palette as limited as possible, so that way you guys can just pick up single markers if you want to follow along with the exact colors, but I do encourage you to just use whatever you have. So if you have other water-based markers, the reason why I'm going to say, just as throwing that out there, the reason why I like Tombows in books like this is because these pages are double-sided. So since I want to work on the reverse page, I prefer the Tombow markers because even though they don't blend as nicely, they have this great ability to just lay on the surface of the paper and not sink through like Copics do. So in general, I've never had any bleed through. You can see on the reverse page of, say, the dragon, I use so many layers of Tombows on this dragon, but the reverse page is completely fine. It's there's no issue there. So that's why I like using them in books like this. Otherwise, I would be using my Copic markers, but because I want to color the reverse side, that's why I'm choosing the Tombows. Oh, that's great. I'm glad that you're looking for this. Yeah, so I've never done a tiger, leopard, whatever kind of cat this is. So this is going to be a learning experience for me. But another thing that I kind of wanted your guys' input on, I want to do the background like a jungle-y, because that's what it feels like to me, is like a jungle background. But I was debating on the frame, should I, and let's actually start while we're chatting about this, because we've already decided Tombow. So let's grab a scrap. Even though I have my color chart, you guys know how I, oh, that's not gonna work. You guys know how I work. I prefer just doodling around. Yeah, the Tombows are great. So I do have this chart here. I'll just keep it out, but I'm guessing, let's start with some greens for the background, and that way as we chat we can kind of decide the other things. Yeah, I just love this color. I hope it doesn't run out. If so, I think I have a spare. So I'm gonna grab, oh man, this is not gonna show. This is Tombow 228, which is called Gray Green. So let's see here. Is it better if I turn off the light? No. I don't know. Is that better or is it worse? I'm having a hard time. The light here is kind of tricky for me again still. I thought starting later would help, but it's that wintertime light shift thing that's happening. It's fine. Okay. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to go over with you guys. I'm just gonna so we're starting with 228, and here I just want to kind of get the background. So this blank area behind everything else, I just kind of want to get that started. So let's start over down here. And what I do with the Tombows, just to get a sense of them, is I just start in a small area, and what I'm doing is I'm making leaf shapes that sort of mimic the leaves that are in front. So they can almost be like background leaves behind what we've got going on there. I find this is a really effective way to create depth. But while we're doing this, how do you guys feel about either, I was thinking either like an antique sort of old school looking like metal frame, like a brass or something like that, or I could do like a wood frame. I did a wood frame for a different page, and a lot of people were asking me how I did that, so kind of like torn between what kind of, because this is a very ornate frame, so we're going to be spending some time on it. Let's see what the wood, please. Wood. Yeah, I was thinking wood too. Well, that's easy if you guys are all agreeing. Okay, so the trick with jungle backgrounds is just to create lots of different variations in shapes. And by doing that, what you do is like the variety is what I think identifies a jungle for me versus just a forest. So once I get this corner kind of filled in with these different shapes, I'm going to move on to a different type of shape in the background. So by doing all these different leaf shapes, what you do is you do create that variety that feels like a jungle. And this is all background stuff, so you don't have to be perfect. If you don't follow a shape perfectly or whatever, I don't think anybody's gonna notice. So don't stress too much about doing that. Let's see here. No, Shalene, the Tombows don't leave any marks on the paper behind it. So you can see, that's the reason why I like them in books like this. The alcohol-based ones will go through. That's just the nature of alcohol markers. These are water-based. These are the Tombow ABT. Hi Heather, how you doing? Yep. Yeah, I think the alcohol pen is also really nice, but I have a set of Copics that I'm already building, so I think I'm going to stick with those. Although it's not like I don't mix alcohol marker brands, but yeah, I figure I've got a fair few of these water-based ones though, and I just love them, especially for books like this where it's got like a very detailed page. Not a whole lot of big areas that require a lot of smooth blending, like some large areas require lots and lots of blending. And okay, so now I'm just kind of squiggling shapes around and not so much trying to go for that same leaf shape. I'm just trying to pick out the background. So at this point, scribbling to me indicates smaller leaves that are in more of a distant area. So just sort of scribbling and dots. I like dots too. Oh, see, I drew into the leaf here. That's okay. Let's just to keep it from getting confusing, I just sort of covered that up. So the trick with detailed books like this is really just to kind of try and pay attention. If you do make a mistake, there's usually a way to recover from it. But that's sort of why I like defining the background first and kind of getting that sorted out, if you will, so that way later on you can focus on the foreground. And there's no right way to do it. Some people fill in the front first and deal with the background later. That's okay too, there's no right way. Okay, so I think we've filled in all behind those funny little things. Oh, hello, Charlotte. Hi, Kelly. Who else just came in? Sorry guys, I had my head down. Hello, hello. Lurk away. So now we have sort of like an atmosphere going on right there. I kind of want to kind of travel that same feeling. Now I don't want it to be in exactly the same spot. I want to create some darkness right around here, but let's do a different shape altogether. So the shape I'm going for, I'll just show you on the scrap here. So we're going for like this. Okay, this is a really basic example, but you know these like palm leaves or whatever they are, really exotic looking leaves. So that's sort of the leaf I'm going for now. It doesn't have to be perfect again because it's in the background, but by just adding another leaf shape to the background, we're really adding a lot of atmosphere and different variety like I was talking about before. Okay, so now when I'm doing a cluster of these, what I like to do is sort of like vary the direction that they're coming from. So let's do another one, but let's have him start. See, we've got all this stuff going on, so we can conveniently hide any issues behind. So like, it can be coming out of nowhere. We don't really need to know where it's coming from. If it's hidden behind something. Alright, so now let's do another one. He's probably originating from over here. And maybe he comes down here. So there's no right way to do this. You can pick any direction. These leaves tend to kind of go in any pattern. Now another feature of the Tombow markers is that they layer, so the more layers you put down, the darker it gets. So now I'm just going to fill in this kind of weird shape, but what I do is I still kind of like pretend like there's a leaf going on there. So I just fill it in with the same texture that we've been using elsewhere. Alright, let's see what's happening in the chat. Can you zoom in? Yes. Sorry about that. Let's zoom in, and I'm going to have to adjust the book a little bit. Okay. There we go. Is that better? Sorry about that. It is hard to see in this light too for me. So we're going to make do though, guys. Hopefully the sun will wake up better. Hi Caroline. Hello everybody. Hello, hello. Alright, so right in here, let's do another one. Let's see what direction. We'll do one that's coming down through here. So now as we get into these little areas here, I'm just sort of doing directional strokes, evoking that feeling of those leaves, but not really fussing about exactly how they go. Okay, we've got some area here. Let's just fill that in. All right, so we've got all these little things happening here. I'm just trying to sort out which thing is background and which is foreground. So I think this kind of thing is what's intimidating about Tomislav Tomic's books, is that they can get really detailed. But for me, the trick here is just to take my time and really just kind of concentrate, zone out, not fuss too much if I get something wrong. Okay, see, yeah, so that was actually part of a curl. That's all right. We're just making that a shadow now. No big deal. Okay. So I do like to tackle the backgrounds of these complicated areas pretty quickly. It really helps me see the object and what I'm going to need to do for the rest of that. That's okay, Caroline. I'm in Top Chat all the time. Nobody will yell at you there. All right, so I'm just sort of defining the edge of the tree shape here a little bit better. Okay. So let's continue those sort of fun little shapes. Let's just do hints of them right over here. Just to kind of continue that feeling. Now I'm going to change the foliage type again above this. Whoops, see, I went over the line. That's totally okay. So now I'm scribbling in a different pattern, sort of up and down. I want this area back here to feel kind of dark. I'm going to try and direct the eye towards the tiger's face. And how I do that through the composition is by sort of vignetting the figure. So the flying kitty cat here, he's going to get some dark darks behind him to sort of focus the eye to this area of the page. Let's see, busy top chat. Yeah, Heather, what are we gonna do with them? That's okay. I'm in live chat today, but I've done top chat parties too. Sammy, with Tombow water-based markers, do you find they streak less being that they have a brush tip over other water-based markers? Honestly, I find they do streak. The way that I keep them from not streaking is by working in small areas. So this kind of book is perfect. If you don't want them to streak, you've got to work quickly like this. And even then, sometimes they'll streak. So instead of fussing about that, I use the streakiness to my advantage to create lots of texture in the background. So that's why you'll see me using directional strokes. And, you know, I'll pick textures like wood grain for these types of markers. Fur is really great for these types of markers because the streakiness, if you utilize it in the right way, then it really becomes like an advantage and not a drawback. So I wouldn't recommend these markers if you're trying to get like a really smooth blend, like for a face or something like that. But for a page like this where it's got lots of tight detail and lots of texture opportunity, I think they're awesome for that. So that's why I wanted to show them. I know that they might not be perfect for every situation, but especially in these books, I tend to grab my Tombows a lot. And I think it's because they are the brush tips, and the brush tips are really nice, so it kind of, I don't know, I just enjoy working with them. So now I'm using like a different scribbly. So you'll see I'll go through the background and just use lots of different types of texture to create a cool effect in the background. Let's see. Oh, I'm off screen. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Whoops. My bad. Yeah, I haven't used the Arteses. I tend to prefer the Tombows. That's just, I've been using the Tombows. My boyfriend gave me a set a while ago, and I just love them, so I've just been collecting them ever since. So I got the portrait set first, and it's great. It's filled with really beautiful neutral browns and peaches and stuff like that. So I really like that set. And then I got the landscape set, which is nice. And then I just started adding singles to my collection and just sort of buying them at will whenever I needed a specific color mostly. And I've definitely got some favorites that I have already bought new ones of. So mostly the ones in the portrait set. And not because they're for portraits, I use them a lot for like, you know, neutral, like wood and other objects. So like I did the bunny page. You guys have seen the bunny page, right? From Kirby Roseanne's book. That was all done with mostly the portrait markers. Hi, Darla. Thanks for being here. Let's see. You're welcome, Sammy. Yeah, if you're familiar with any other type of marker, these are very similar. We're going to use color pencil over these to soften and blend and stuff. So you'll see how I use them, but I feel like it's very, very quick to fill the page with the base of these first, and then work over them with pencil. Just speeds up the process, And especially for all these little details, I think just makes it so much more enjoyable to color. Uh, so right now, just working in the background. And I've already feel less overwhelmed now, just filling it in with a base. It's so funny. With just a quick base of marker, you can already see the foreground better. So this is my secret to the approach of complex pages like this, is just fill in the background and already it feels less overwhelming. It doesn't have to be finished, just filled in. Let's see. Good morning, Kim. Hello, hello. Hello, everybody. I'm not sure if I missed somebody. I'm just trying to find. But yeah, hello. Thanks for coming. And if you have any questions, put them for me in all caps so I can see them. We should be good to go there. All right, we've got some little spots. This guy there. Let's fill this in too, just to make it easy on myself later. Okay. Thanks, Kim. Yeah, it's a really easy one to do. This sort of scribble pattern. And I find it gives a great texture for far away leaves. Okay, so I've done that for a good part of this background up here, so I'm going to switch it up in just a minute. So let's continue this right to about there. And now let's do some sparser, larger leaves. Sort of like they're closer. Let's see, Kim, I'm using the Tombow ABT brush markers. Oh, that's great, Kathy. Yeah, this one here, this is the only color I've used so far. It's 228. So we're just filling in the background and getting that all sort of worked on. Let's see, let's put some color back there. And let's put a little green right there. So my goal with any background is just to create contrast and highlight my favorite features about the foreground. So that's why I did a simpler background back here where it's not as important. And we'll do a lot more detail and a lot more interesting things, you know, in this area where I think it's more interesting, if that makes sense. So I want to create some sort of background tree branch kind of thing happening because we've got all these branches here. Let's create a different shape that's less swirly and more angular to kind of contrast it in the background. And what I'm doing here is I'm going to kind of cut through these here. So just keep in mind, you just have to follow the line that you're creating in the background. Okay, so now we're doing little branches up off of it. So what I do is I sort of just, as I'm going through, I just kind of trace through. I lift up my pen in the areas I don't want to actually draw in. Okay, so now this creates a platform where I can pull down and create those mossy, viney things. So by using all the same color, what I'm doing here is creating some color harmony. So these are just up and down vertical strokes. And then at the end of some of the longer ones, I'm just going to create some funny little dot patterns. Oh, I'm off screen again. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm really bad at that today. Sorry guys. So what I did is I just pulled down with my marker. Okay, so that's really fun because it creates like a nice little texture right behind the top of his head. So in here, I'm gonna leave that. We're gonna do a lighter color green, but all back here, I'm gonna create the same sort of just up and down stroke, just to indicate there's some other branches above that are doing the same thing. That's a branch, I think. Wait, is it a branch? What do we got here? We've got okay, no, it's not a branch. You can easily confuse yourself in these kind of situations. So just take your time and kind of work your way inward if you get stuck. All right, we've got some more we can put in up here. All right. There we go. Hi, Andrea. Screen, please move the book. Oh, wait. Am I in? I'm in screen. Or maybe that was a delay. Yeah, that could have been a delay. Okay, so now I have like just this area back here and some of this open area that is a little bit lighter. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to add more that. I think I'm going to add more detail maybe down here. So let's make sure I'm in screen. Okay, so right in here, I'm going to just create some dots. And what I do when I'm dotting is I actually just create some dots. And what I do when I'm dotting is I actually make little circles a lot. And that kind of like creates like this fun texture. Can you guys see this okay? So then when I get closer to the area where it's sort of fading out, I'll do dots. So it's a circle and dot texture. Yes, you can see. Okay, good. Hi, Gary. Hello, hello. Yep, thanks for popping in. And I'm sorry about the background noises, guys. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's not much I can do. That's outside. All right, getting there. Dot, dot, dot. So what's cool is, even though these do not blend the same way the Copics do, they do blend. So let's pick a lighter color now. So we're swapping over. Let's see here. So we've done 228. Let's make a list just to make it easier on myself when I go to upload the description later. We use 228. Alright, so now I want a lighter color, 173. Okay, yeah, so this cap looks fluorescent, but it's not. That's something to keep in mind with the Tombows, is you really have to swatch them out. So we're switching to 173. And this may seem like a crazy color, but you'll see once. Let's see. Okay, good. Alright, so what I do when I'm not quite sure if this is the color I want, I start in a corner where it's not important. That way, if it's not great, what I can do is make that really dark. Nobody will be able to tell. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go straight over everything except the foreground. So I'm just coloring right over what we already put down. Yep, and this sort of softens the outline, makes it more of a fuzzy transition, which is nice because since this is the background, that's exactly the effect I'm after. Now, if you want it to be crisp, then I would work light to dark and let the light areas dry. But because we want it to feel a little fuzzy, I'm just going over everything. This darkens and enriches the color a little bit too. These do dry slightly lighter. They're like watercolors. They do dry a little bit lighter. Okay. But what's nice is we went through all the trouble to put in all that texture. And now just going over it with a lighter color just makes it really quick. And to get this depth of color and this darkness with pencils, we would be here for a lot longer. So that's why I like the markers. They do speed it up quite a lot. And then we can put details and stuff if we want to over it. Let's see. Oh, how do you mean, Kenny? Yeah, Kathy, it's a fun technique for backgrounds. I do really, really love these markers for backgrounds. But you'll see we'll even use them in the foreground. It's just, since these are complicated pages, I like to just knock out the background first. So it just makes it a little less intimidating if you can sort out what the foreground is doing. So we didn't do anything over here. Let me actually grab the old color that we were using before to make sure I've got the right one. It was 228, I believe. Yep, there it is. So I'm just going to swap back over to 228. And I'm using the same squiggly texture that we used up there. Let's just sort of bring this into that little area so it doesn't feel weird and cut off, like in the middle. Okay. So it's easy to miss spots and then need to come back later. So this is why I try and use a simplified palette of only a couple colors at the beginning. That way if you're swapping back and forth, it's not that hard to reproduce the colors that you've already created. Okay. So I feel better about that. Now I'm swapping back to 173. We're just going to give that the same quick coat. Now here's the first instance where we're seeing the color pure. It's very bright. We'll dry a little bit later, but what we can do is if it's too powerful, we can knock it back with pencil later. Okay, so now that I'm getting into sort of a bigger area where streaking will start to happen, this large of an area, streaky bits will happen. Now I'm doing the same sort of texture technique where I'm just scribbling around. This again helps to make the streaking look intentional. If you're going to streak, you might as well do it right, right? That sounds naughty. That's not what I meant. But yeah, so here now I'm just picking out the little spots. Okay, so let's do the same squiggles that we were doing over there. We're gonna do over here. And these squiggles I'm doing are larger than little squiggles, but they're the same type of squiggle. So also using now little ovals and circles at the end, just to give it some little flavor at the end of it, I guess. Okay, so now oh, I'm off screen again. This is really bad. Sorry, guys. Yeah, if you don't like using markers, you can also use watercolor to do this. I just love using the markers. Um, if you want to also just use pure pencil, you can still accomplish the same effect with pencil. It's just going to take you a lot longer. So yeah, it's totally your call how you want to approach this page. I'm just going to show you my techniques and the way I'm doing it. Because that's how I know how to do it. But yeah, you don't have to feel the need to go out and buy markers if you don't want to. And you can also try other brands of markers. It doesn't have to be this particular brand. I know there are a lot of other water-based markers out there. So we're just filling in now, trying to make sure to get all those spots. So it's great, even if you're not perfect with that initial texture layer, you can kind of smooth out any issues with this next layer that we're doing now. Okay, so I've left a gap sort of here where like there isn't any marker at all right now. Oh, thanks for coming by, Caroline. Yes, go ahead and get ready for your stream. Okay, so I'm going to fill in. We're gonna go from this corner up now, sort of the same way. Let's meet somewhere in the middle here. So let's just go through and do the same thing. What's exciting about markers, you see the page happening fairly quickly, and that's exciting to get a lot of the page covered really fast. I feel like it gives you a lot of momentum for the rest of it when you see it getting covered up. So I think that's why I do love marker. It really jump starts the whole picture and gets you going. Okay, so we didn't do anything right there. We'll pick a different green, I think. So we'll have 3 different greens total. Okay, let's make sure I'm not. This is exciting. I'm glad you're excited. Yay, Sammy. Yeah, I do like how quick it is. I will say. One of my favorite bits about marker. Just gets the job done really quickly. Um, it's the same with Copics. Like they are so quick too. But yeah, I don't like the Copics in double-sided books where like there's 2 pages and you don't want to ruin the page behind it. So this is a great alternative to Copic markers or alcohol-based markers in general. And see, we've got some streakiness going on, so that's no difficulty to hide. Just kind of just dot around it. Make it look like it's intentional. Nobody will guess that it's a mistake. Except, you know, the people who watch my videos, they'll know. There's always a way to hide a problem. So don't freak out if you make a mistake or you go over the lines or whatever. You can see I've already done that quite a few times. We'll sort it all out in the end. Hi, Joe Beth. Unless you have a duplicate. Oh, okay. See you later, Christina. Yeah, I do have a duplicate book. Is that what you mean? Yep, but we're going to try and get this done without... Oh, look, I missed that spot. See, very easy with his books to miss it. So I jumped back over to 228, and now I'm back using 173. And here, over here, I'm going to, in the larger areas, kind of go in a circular pattern because these leaves are more kind of swoopy shaped. Oh, that's a leaf, my bad. See, I'm filling in all these complex background shapes. Ugh, just really helps your eyes when you're looking at it. Really does make a huge difference trying to figure out the rest of it. So, highly recommended. Okay. All right. So we've got this area right in the center. Hi, Leslie. Yeah, I haven't tried the Kuritakis yet. Yeah, for anybody who's just popping in, these are the Tombow ABT water-based brush markers. So we've used 2 colors so far. I'm going to pick another color. Let's see here. That's nice, but let's see if I like this one better. Yep, okay, as it dries, I think I like the greener version more. So we've got 243 is what we're jumping to. Now, I'm just going to use that. I'm going to leave all the areas we've already gone over and just look at the areas that have like gaps in them. So you guys, let's see, can you see okay? So anywhere where there's like, where you can see the white of the paper, that's where I'm going to go through. And what I'm going to try and do for the areas that are up here close to the tiger, I'm just going to go right as an outline. And now I'm just squiggling in the areas, trying to leave some of that plain color that I had of the 173, but then also kind of blending in and just sort of like overlapping in spots. So where it will overlap, it will be darker, but this gives a really nice leafy kind of when leaves overlap, they have a darker shape too. So it sort of just works. Now I'm using those vertical strokes and then just dotting in some texture. So really quick and easy. There's a shape right there I'll fill in. I think that's a background color. Let's make sure I'm on camera still. Yep. Let's see here. What's everybody saying? Yeah, jungle feeling. That's exactly what I'm going for. All right. You like the effect? Hi, Jerry. How you doing? Hi, Bella. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. So let's see. We've got that all filled in. So let's go down here and do the same thing. Now I do find the lighter colors just streak less. However, you still want to move fairly quickly. But it's not a completely solid color, and I'm not worried about that because we're going to go over that with pencil as needed. So let's just, yeah, I love this mint green. I think I've gone through like 3 of these markers already. It's ridiculous. So we've already got a background going in an hour. Pretty quick and easy. We used 3 colors. So we did 228, 173, and 243. So those are the 3 colors we used. We got a quick background done. And now I think you guys can see what I'm talking about. Now we already know where we're needing to go in the foreground now. So that's about it. I'm gonna try and keep these to 1 hour if possible. We might just do more during the week. Yep, yeah, it's really quick. I have the jungle feel going. Yeah, it's mostly in the color choices. So if you have a variety of colors, we're going to choose different colors for the foreground. But yeah, I think the color choices really make it feel like a jungle. And you see, we didn't do a whole lot of work, but it's just the way that we added texture. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I think we're going to call it done for today. And next time we'll do probably, I don't know, I'm thinking either the wood in the frame. I think that would be a good thing to do. Oh, thanks. Sorry I went off screen a couple times. All right, well, if nobody has any questions. Leslie, I love that song. Yeah, I'm really happy to help out. Oh, sure, Angela. This here, we're going to be working in this book for a while. It's called Vilin San, and it's by Tomislav Tomic. And this particular page here, the flying cat page, we used the 3 Tombow colors. Yep, you got it. So we'll be using some more Tombows to base it out, and then switching probably to polychromos for shading and stuff like that. So, all right, I will see you guys next week. We'll probably be doing another impromptu stream later this week with our metals. I'm sorry, not metals. Gemstone coloring. So, but we'll see. Um, yeah, we'll see how far we get with that. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I think Caroline has her stream now, so go ahead and pop over to her channel and check her out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.